You know that moment when you look in the mirror and you thought like, who is that? I had that moment last year into the most stressful season of my life. My skin was puffy, dull, like the lines around my eyes looked like they deepened overnight. And even with makeup and all dressed up, I still looked tired. And I was doing everything right with my skincare. I was using good serums, consistent routine, and all of it. And I realized this was never a skincare problem. If we haven't met yet, I'm Holly. In this channel, I explain the complete science of why your skin and hair change after 40, from what you put on it, to what you eat, to what your hormones are doing, so you can stop guessing and start getting real results. And today, I'm getting really personal because I think a lot of you are going through exactly what I went through. Last year was a lot for me. I had a major career change. I was working over like 10 hours a day, and on top of that, I had these 5 a.m. calls with colleagues in Europe, which meant I was starting my day before my body had even finished the night before. I'm a mom of 2. I had a toddler, so I was also cooking, cleaning, running everyone else's lives, and trying to just hold it together. In about 2 months into that hectic life, I looked in the mirror and I genuinely did not recognize myself. The puffiness, the gray tone, the way my skin just looked exhausted. And my instinct was to add more products, a new retinol, a brighter serum, like more layers. And I was desperate for answers. So I stopped looking at the marketing hype and started digging into the actual mechanisms of skin health. But here's the thing, I was trying to fix a hormonal problem with a topical solution, and that is like trying to fix a cracked foundation by repainting the walls. So here's what actually is happening inside your skin when you are chronically stressed. A simple version of what cortisol does to your skin is this. Think of your hormones as the architect of your skin structure. They design everything, the collagen, the elastin, the barrier, and skincare products, those are the paint and the finish on the walls. When the architect is drawing up healthy blueprints, the paint looks beautiful. But when your body is producing chronically high cortisol, that architect starts making bad decisions. Cortisol has a direct effect on collagen synthesis. It literally signals your body to stop building and redirect its resources towards survival mode instead. Your skin barrier weakens, which is why stressed skin suddenly feels more reactive, more dry, more sensitive than it has ever before. And cortisol also disrupts sleep, which is when your skin does most of its actual repair work. So you end up with a compounding effect. Less collagen production, a weaker barrier, less overnight repair, and more inflammation all at once. The puffiness, the dullness, the sensitivity, that line that seemed to appear from nowhere, that is not just aging. A lot of that is actually cortisol. And when I actually understood the mechanism, I completely changed how I approach it. Here's a mistake that ruins your skin even more during the high stress season. And I made this mistake myself. The moment your skin starts to peel or looking dull or aged, the instinct is to push harder. Add more retinol, more exfoliation, more actives. The logic is this: if my skin looks bad, I need to do more to fix it. But you have to remember, your skin barrier is already compromised from the inside. Adding aggressive actives to an already weakened, inflamed barrier is like sandpapering a bruise. You are adding real biological insult to actual biological injury. Your skin is not being lazy, it's being sabotaged from the inside. And what it needs right now is not more pressure, it needs support. So what actually helps? The shift happens on 2 levels, and you need both. First is the inside. I had to be honest about what was actually driving my cortisol. For me, it was sleep deprivation and the mental load of everything hitting at once. The most effective thing I did was also the most simplest, protecting my sleep window. Even going to bed just an hour earlier made a visible difference in my skin. I went from sleeping at 11 to getting into bed around like 9:30 because I had to wake up at 4:30 to start the day. Now, because of the anxiety I was having, falling asleep wasn't easy. What really helped me to relax was lavender essential oil. I just spray a little on the back of my pillow and it really helps me wind down. I also realized that I was constantly running around, like physically and mentally, so I started blocking off a couple of hours in my calendar for things I actually enjoy. For me, that's gardening, taking care of my plant babies feel like therapy, but this could be anything for you. Playing a sport, going for a walk, even just watching TV, whatever makes you happy. The key is treating that time as non-negotiable. That's what helps bring cortisol down. I also started taking ashwagandha, sometimes called Indian ginseng. It's one of the more well-researched herbs for stress. A 2025 meta-analysis looking at 15 studies and over 800 people found that ashwagandha significantly reduced both stress and cortisol levels after about 8 weeks. I'll link the one I was taking and still taking in the description below. Second is the outside. Here's the part nobody really explains. While you're doing the inside work, your skin still needs support. The goal isn't to do nothing, it's to shift your routine from stimulating to supporting. That means temporarily pull back on strong actives. No retinol, no exfoliating acids. Instead, just focus on hydration, barrier repair, and calming ingredients. Think of it as creating a safe haven for your skin while your hormones stabilize. You're not abandoning your routine, you're adjusting it to meet your skin where it is right now. Let me get specific. Because the approach actually changes depending on where you are in your stress cycle. If you're in the middle of a high stress season, like back-to-back meetings, barely sleeping like I was, your skin needs almost nothing active. Just gentle cleanse, barrier repair, and sunscreen. That's it. Give your skin permission to rest. If you're in the recovery phase, things have calmed down, but your skin is showing the aftermath, this is where you can start layering lighter actives back in. I started with niacinamide and peptides before going back to anything exfoliating, including retinol. They signal repair without adding stress to an already taxed barrier. And if you are in a perimenopause or hormonal fluctuation phase, which a lot of us are navigating at 40 plus, this is essentially a chronic low-grade version of the cortisol problem. Your skin is in a perpetually slightly stressed state. For this, the consistency of barrier support matters more than cycling through new products. As we age, our skin's repair capacity slows. It needs more time, not more products. So instead of throwing random products at my skin, I narrowed it down to a few that are designed to actively support and repair the barrier when you have cortisol phase. First, for barrier repair, the key ingredient to look for here is panthenol or vitamin B5. Panthenol helps your skin draw moisture in and supports the skin's own repair process. Pair that with metacalcicide, which comes from Centella asiatica, and you have a genuine anti-inflammatory ingredient with research behind it for calming reactive skin and support collagen recovery. For that, I reach for the La Roche-Posay Cycloplast Balm B5+. This is my moisturizer. I use it day and night. It seals the barrier and genuinely calms any inflamed or reactive areas. Second is hydration signaling. When your skin barrier is compromised, your natural ceramide production drops. Ceramides are the structural lipids that literally hold your barrier together. Think of them like the grout between the tiles. This is where niacinamide comes in. It helps your skin produce more ceramide, and it's one of the most well-researched ingredients we have for barrier support. My go-to for this is the Peach and Lily Glass Skin Serum. It's very lightweight, non-irritating, and deeply hydrating without overwhelming the already stressed skin. It contains 2% niacinamide, which is in that sweet spot. Effective, but still gentle enough for sensitive or compromised skin. Once you start going above 5% niacinamide, it can be too strong. Third is the eye area. This is usually where stress shows up first. If you had a bad night of sleep or your cortisol is high, you'll see here almost immediately. And caffeine helps a lot because it's a vasoconstrictor. Basically, it tightens the blood vessels under your eyes, which makes puffiness and dark circles less noticeable. Then you have EGCG, which is an antioxidant from green tea. That adds an extra anti-inflammatory effect. So you're calming the area while also depuffing. The one I keep going back to is this one by The Ordinary Caffeine Solution. It has a gel texture, and I love to put this in the fridge so it becomes like a cooling gel when I apply it. And this is not only for the eye area. You can put this on your face for the puffiness and soothing effect. Now, a few things I want to flag before we wrap this up. One is if you're in a high stress season, resist the urge to layer multiple new calming products all at once. Even gentle products can trigger reactivity when your barrier is already compromised. Start with one and let your skin adjust. Two is topical products cannot solve the cortisol problem. They genuinely cannot. They're protecting your barrier while you do the inside work. If you don't address what's actually driving the cortisol, you will be in this cycle indefinitely. And three, if your skin changes have been sudden or dramatic, it is worth having a real conversation with your doctor. Sometimes what looks like a skincare issue can actually be a hormonal or medical conversation waiting to happen. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you ever gone through a high stress season and noticed completely change your skin? What is your first thing you noticed? Let me know in the comments below. There's so much more to hormonal skincare than what we can see on the surface. If you want to understand how to build a routine inside and out that actually respects your skin's biology after 40, you want to watch this video next.